The man wakes in the middle of the road, blood crusted to his temple, headlights blinding him in the dark. His clothes are soaked, but there's no rain. Behind him, tire tracks, a twisted guardrail, and something lying in the ditch. A child's backpack. He stumbles toward it, fingers trembling, but when he opens the backpack and sees the name stitched inside, something inside him snaps. Because it's his daughter's name, and he doesn't have a daughter. The first thing he notices is the buzzing, not a sound exactly. More like static in his skull, a low electrical hum pulsing beneath everything. Then comes the smell: copper, gasoline, scorched rubber. He's lying face down on asphalt, the skin of his cheek burning against it. A sharp, rhythmic pain pulses at his temple. He tries to sit up. A wave of nausea hits him like a truck. The truck, flashes, white light, a scream, spinning trees, and then nothing. His hands are scraped raw. His shirt clings to his back, damp and cold. He stumbles to his feet and sees that he's on a narrow rural road somewhere in the woods. There's a twisted metal guardrail to his right, bent and torn as if something heavy veered off the road. Tire tracks gouge the earth leading down into a dark ravine. He follows them. At the bottom of the slope, among broken branches and crushed undergrowth, lies a rusted blue sedan. The front is crumpled around a tree. Steam hisses from the hood. The driver's side door is open, but it's the object lying 10 feet from the car that freezes him in place. A small pink backpack. He drops to his knees, heart thundering, and lifts it gently. There's a juice box inside, smashed crackers, a sheet of stickers, and a name stitched on the inner flap in bright purple thread. Ellie James. He stares at it for a long time, the name vibrating in his skull like a siren. Tears well in his eyes, unbidden. Ellie James. Ellie. Ellie. His voice cracks when he says it aloud. Ellie. It feels like someone else's voice. He looks around, scanning the woods. Ellie? No response. Just the creaking of the metal car frame and the hum of insects in the dark. He stumbles back up to the road, still clutching the backpack. Every nerve in his body screams that something is deeply wrong. But the worst part is this. He doesn't know who he is. There's no wallet in his pocket. No phone. He searches the wreckage, but the license plate is missing. The glove box is empty. He stares at his reflection in the cracked side mirror. A man in his late 30s with blood-matted brown hair and terrified eyes. Who am I? That's when the headlights appear, far down the road, growing closer. Relief surges through him. He runs into the road, waving his arms. Hey, please! The car slows. A window rolls down, and the woman inside screams. He backs away, startled. Wait, I'm not... But she's already reversed, tires squealing, vanishing into the night. He stands alone in the road, shaking, Ellie's backpack pressed to his chest like a lifeline. From the woods behind him, something cracks. A branch. Underfoot. He turns sharply, but there's no one there, only darkness. He walks, hours maybe. His legs ache, muscles screaming with each step, but stopping feels more dangerous. The static in his head hasn't gone away. If anything, it's louder now, like an old radio between stations. Every few minutes he whispers the name stitched inside the backpack. Ellie James, hoping it might unlock something. It doesn't. Eventually lights appear ahead. A gas station, old and grimy, the neon open sign flickering like it's trying to stay awake. A teenage clerk behind the counter looks up, startled as he enters, bloodied and barefoot. Jesus, dude, the clerk says. You okay? He sets the backpack gently on the counter. I need help. I think there was an accident. The kid hesitates. Should I call 911? He nods. Please. The call is short. The man doesn't give a name. He just says there was a crash, maybe a child involved. When the dispatcher asks if he was driving, he pauses for too long. I don't remember. Within 10 minutes, a sheriff's cruiser rolls into the lot. The officer is tall, mid-50s, hard-lined face and steel-gray eyes. His badge reads Sheriff Donald Raymer. You the one called it in? Raymer asks. Yes. I found a car off the road. I think there was a little girl with me. He shows the backpack. Ellie. Ellie James. Raymer's face shifts. Not surprise. Not exactly. But something subtle, like recognition. You said you don't know who you are? The sheriff asks. I don't remember anything before I woke up. Not even my name. Raymer nods slowly. Then he gestures toward his cruiser. Let's get you checked out at the hospital. We'll figure it out. Inside the cruiser, the man watches trees blur past, their shadows like skeletal fingers clawing the windows. He tries to hold on to one clear thought. Ellie. She must have been in the car. But why can't he picture her? What did her voice sound like? Her face? At the hospital, a nurse tends to his wounds while the sheriff speaks to the front desk. The man's head pounds. Later, Raymer returns holding a file. We ran your prints. You're not in the system, but your face came up on a silver alert issued 2 days ago. Name's Michael James, from Ash Grove, Missouri. Michael. The name feels foreign, but not wrong. You went missing Friday morning. Wife reported it. Said you left home early and never came back. Wife? He echoes. I have a wife? Raymer nods. And a daughter, Ellie, 6 years old. Michael's stomach twists. Did she? We haven't found a body, Raymer says. Just your car, crashed and empty. Michael grips the armrest, knuckles white. Then where is she? Raymer looks at him carefully, as if weighing something. That's what we're going to find out. Michael's voice is a whisper. I didn't hurt her. No one's saying you did. But the look in Raymer's eyes says otherwise. And in that moment, Michael feels it, like a hairline crack splitting open in his mind. A memory trying to surface. Her voice shrieking. Tires screaming. His hands on the wheel. Then, black. Raymer watches him for a beat too long. You said you don't remember anything, the sheriff says slowly. But you found your way to the gas station. Michael blinks. You walked 5 miles from the crash, Raymer says. Through backwoods and unmarked roads. No signs, no lights, but you didn't hesitate. Michael's heart stutters. How'd you know where to go? Michael sits on the edge of the hospital bed, fingers twitching around the strap of Ellie's backpack. The juice box inside has leaked, sweet stickiness soaking the lining. He stares at the purple stitching of her name, each letter carved into his brain like a scar. Sheriff Raymer watches from the corner, arms crossed. You sure you're up for this? I need to see my wife. They drive in silence. Rain spatters the windshield, fat and slow. Michael watches the countryside pass in disjointed blinks. Barns, rusted mailboxes, collapsing fences. Every turn feels familiar and wrong at the same time. As they near Ash Grove, the static in his head spikes again, louder than before. He clenches his jaw, fingers digging into his thighs. Then, suddenly, the house appears. White colonial, sagging. Porch and old swing swaying on a thick chain. The mailbox reads, James. The moment he steps out of the car, his knees nearly buckle. It's not just déjà vu, it's something deeper, like walking into a dream you've already lived. Raymer stays by the cruiser as Michael approaches the porch. Before he can knock, the door swings open. A woman stands there, barefoot in the doorway. Her face is pale, lips cracked, hair pulled into a messy bun. She looks like she hasn't slept in days. Her eyes meet his, and she slaps him. Hard. Michael stumbles back, the sting blooming across his cheek. She's already crying. Where is she? I don't know, he says, voice breaking. I swear I don't remember. You left at 6 that morning, said you had to pick up something for Ellie's school project. You never came back. Then your car turns up wrecked and empty, and now you, what? Forgot we exist? She collapses into a chair, sobbing. I thought you killed her. I thought you killed her and ran. Raymer steps in. Laura, he's been through trauma. The doctors think he's suffering from dissociative amnesia. It's rare, but real. Michael turns sharply. What kind of trauma causes someone to forget their own child? Raymer doesn't answer. Later, after Laura storms upstairs, Michael wanders through the house. Every object is a riddle. The coffee mug with not a one dad. The fridge drawings. Signed Ellie. A photograph of the three of them at a carnival. Her face blurred from motion, but his smile clear. Too clear. He should remember this. In Ellie's bedroom, the air is thick with dust and silence. Pink wallpaper, stuffed animals, a half-finished jigsaw puzzle on the floor. Then he sees the drawing. It's taped to the wall beside her bed. A crayon, sketch of a man with red scribbles for eyes, towering above a crying girl. In the corner she wrote, "This is Daddy when he gets bad." Michael staggers backward. Something cold floods his chest. Then footsteps in the hallway. He turns. Laura stands there, silent, her face hollowed. "I didn't want to believe it," she says. "But Ellie told me you were getting worse, that sometimes you didn't even see her." Michael shakes his head. "I wouldn't." She takes a step closer. "What happened to you out there, Michael?" Before he can answer, the doorbell rings. Raymer opens it. A deputy whispers something into his ear. Raymer turns pale. Then he looks at Michael. "We found something," he says. Michael's breath catches. Raymer lowers his voice. "It's about Ellie." The woods are darker than Michael remembers. He stands behind the line of police tape, the wind biting at his skin. A dozen officers comb the ravine near the crash site, flashlights cutting through the underbrush. Sheriff Raymer's voice is low but firm as he briefs the search team, while Michael lingers like a ghost on the edge. It's just past dawn. The sun hasn't yet burned through the mist rising off the creek below. Raymer walks over to him. "You sure you're up for this?" Michael doesn't answer. Instead, he follows the path downhill toward the creek. It's not the car wreck they've returned to. It's what the divers pulled from the water early this morning. Something caught in the roots of a tree, half buried in silt and gravel. Raymer stops him 20 feet from the scene. "There's a shoe," he says. "Child-sized. Matches what?" "Your wife said Ellie wore that morning." Michael sways. "And blood on a nearby rock. We've sent it to the lab, but..." He doesn't finish. Michael closes his eyes, but instead of darkness, he sees flashes. Ellie's hand in his. Her voice behind him, the crunch of tires, a sharp, frantic scream. He opens his eyes. "What if I did something? What if I hurt her?" Raymer studies him carefully. "You really don't remember?" Michael's voice is hoarse. "No, but what if I wanted to forget?" The sheriff says nothing. Back at the house, Michael sits in Ellie's room long after the search is called off for the day. The walls seem smaller now, heavier. The drawing is still there. "This is Daddy when he gets bad." He turns it over. Something else is scrawled on the back. Smaller, sloppier. "Don't let Daddy drink the red bottle." Michael's chest tightens. Downstairs he ransacks the cabinets. No red bottles. He checks the garage, the shed, the locked cabinet in the laundry room. Nothing, until he finds a wooden box under the sink, hidden behind cleaning supplies. Inside, an empty pill bottle. No label, and a second one half full. Dark red capsules, no name, no instructions. Just a pharmacy stamp from a small town an hour away. He stares at them. That night, while Laura sleeps upstairs, Michael drives. The sign reads, Dr. Evelyn Harrow, Neuropsychiatry and Cognitive Disorders. He doesn't remember the place. But his hands know how to get there. The office is closed. But he bangs on the door until a light comes on. A woman answers, older, thin-rimmed glasses, alarmed but not surprised. She blinks when she sees him. "Michael?" He nods. You're not supposed to be here." "What are these?" He holds up the bottle. She stiffens. "I need to know what's happening to me." She opens the door wider. "Then come in," she says softly. "We have a lot to talk about." Dr. Evelyn Harrow's office smells faintly of antiseptic and lavender, like a place trying to disguise something sour beneath it. Bookshelves line the walls, filled with texts on trauma, memory, and rare psychological disorders. Michael sits across from her, the red capsule bottle trembling in his hand. She looks older than the photo on her desk, deeper lines, eyes dulled by something heavier than fatigue. "Tell me what they are," he says, "and don't lie." Evelyn folds her hands in her lap. They're a memory suppressant, off-label use of propranolol combined with a custom neuroleptic compound. You were part of a trial. Michael's head spins. "A trial? You came to me 6 months ago," she says gently. "You said you were losing time, gaps in your memory, violent dreams. You were terrified of hurting someone, your wife, your daughter." His mouth goes dry. "Did I?" She doesn't answer. "Not directly. There were incidents, outbursts. You described episodes of depersonalization, blackouts. You didn't recognize Ellie once when she woke you in the middle of the night." Michael's stomach churns. "I recommended inpatient treatment. You refused. You begged me for another solution, something to make the intrusive memories stop. That's when we started the medication." He stares at the bottle. "You took them daily," she continues. "But 2 weeks ago, you stopped. Cold turkey. You told me you had to remember." "I don't remember any of this." "That's the problem," she says. "This medication doesn't just dull traumatic memories. It suppresses the emotional weight behind them. Without it, everything floods back at once. And in your case, the trauma wasn't historical. It was ongoing." Michael's voice is barely a whisper. "What did I do?" Evelyn looks at him long and hard. Then she reaches into a file cabinet and pulls out a folder. Inside, photos, journal entries, audio recordings. The first photo is of Ellie, bruises on her arm. Michael recoils. No, I didn't." "You didn't know," Evelyn says. "That's why you came to me. You were terrified of yourself. You said there were moments you'd look in the mirror and not recognize the man looking back." Michael clutches the sides of his head. The static is roaring now, like a freight train ripping through his skull. "You said you remembered hurting someone when you were younger. A boy. Your cousin, I think. But your family buried it. Pretended it never happened." Michael flashes. A boy screaming. Water. A dock. His hands. Slipping. Evelyn's voice cuts through the haze. "That trauma never left you. It warped something. In you. When the stressors piled up, work, family, fatherhood, it triggered a full dissociative response." He looks up at her, eyes wide. "So I blacked out and I hurt her?" "I don't know," she says quietly. "But you were terrified that one day you would." Michael grips the edge of the desk. "Where is she, Evelyn?" She swallows. Her voice shakes. "You called me the night before you disappeared. You were crying. You said you'd finally remembered everything. You said you knew what you had to do." Michael's chest tightens. "What did I say?" he demands. "What did I have to do?" Evelyn looks at him with something like pity. "You said you were going to make it right." Then she whispers, "You said you were going to bury the truth." Michael drives into the night, knuckles white on the steering wheel. Rain slicks the roads, headlights cutting through a fog that doesn't seem entirely real. Evelyn's words loop in his head, each one a needle piercing deeper. Make it right. Bury the truth. He has no memory of making that call. No memory of hurting Ellie, but he knows himself enough now to fear what he's capable of. The pills were never to erase the past. They were a dam. And now the dam is cracking. As he approaches his house, something inside him lurches. He doesn't go inside. Instead, he heads around the back, into the woods beyond the yard. The same woods he used to take Ellie into, holding her hand, pointing out birds in the trees. The same woods where she used to collect rocks and whisper secrets to squirrels. The flashlight beam trembles in his grip. He doesn't know where he's going until his feet start moving on their own, down an overgrown trail, past a rusted gate, toward the creek. There, half buried under wet leaves and soil, is a patch of disturbed earth. The flashlight flickers. Michael drops to his knees. His fingers dig, frantic, numb, then plastic, a tarp. His stomach churns. He rips it open and gasps. It's not Ellie. It's a dog. Her stuffed animal, soaked and molded, curled in on itself. One of its button eyes missing. She called it Daisy. He remembers that now. Daisy, who keeps the monsters out, but the tarp, the care with which it was buried. He falls back, dizzy. It's like his mind is mocking him, giving him just enough clarity to pull the next thread. He stumbles to his feet and runs, not to the house, but to the shed. Inside, he flips the switch. The light buzzes to life. Tools line the walls. A tarp on the ground, muddy boots. A shovel still streaked with wet dirt. He looks up. A hook dangles from the rafters. The noose is gone. And suddenly he remembers. That night, Ellie screaming. Laura crying. A fight. Something crashing. His hands shaking as he emptied the red bottle into the sink. Laura yelling, "You promised! You promised you'd keep taking them!" Then silence. And the gun. He didn't bury Ellie. He tried to bury himself. Laura stopped him. Hid the evidence. Hid Daisy's toy in the woods so Ellie wouldn't see it stained. He runs inside the house, breath ragged. Laura is in the kitchen, frozen, phone in hand. "I remember," Michael says, voice raw. "I tried to kill myself." Her eyes widen. She lowers the phone slowly. "I thought I hurt her," he says, falling to his knees. "I thought I killed her." Laura nods, tears in her eyes. "You didn't. Then where is she?" Laura hesitates. "She's gone, Michael." His blood turns to ice. "What do you mean gone?" "She ran." Michael stares at her, unblinking. "She saw the gun. That night, she ran into the woods, barefoot. We searched. But she was gone before we could find her." Michael's voice is barely there. "You didn't call the police." Laura nods, shame pouring off her. "I was afraid. I thought if they came, they'd take you away, that you'd end up in prison or worse." He covers his face, sobbing. "She's been missing for 4 days, Laura says. No one knows where she is." Then the front door creaks open. They both turn, breath frozen. In the doorway stands a girl, covered in mud, scratches on her arms. Ellie. Silent, eyes wide, staring at Michael like he's a stranger. For a moment no one moves. Ellie stands framed in the doorway, barefoot, soaked from the rain, shivering with exhaustion and fear. Her hair clings to her cheeks. Her eyes are wide and dark, eyes that should belong to a child but carry the weight of something far older. Michael rises slowly from his knees, his whole body trembling. "Ellie." She flinches. He freezes. "I won't hurt you," he says, hands raised. "I swear to God, baby, I would never hurt you." But Ellie doesn't speak. She doesn't move. She just stares at him, like she's trying to figure out whether he's real or whether he's still the monster. Laura rushes to her, wraps her arms around her, sobbing uncontrollably. Ellie's small arms wrap slowly around her mother, but her eyes never leave Michael. They're full of questions and something else. Recognition. "I'm sorry," Michael whispers. "I'm sorry for everything." Laura looks up at him. "She was hiding in the old hunting cabin, the one your dad used to use. She must have remembered it somehow." Michael shakes his head. "She was all alone for 4 days. She had food, blankets. She packed a bag. She planned it," Michael says, horrified. "She planned to run." Laura nods. Ellie finally speaks. Her voice is small. "You said you weren't going to get bad anymore." Michael falls apart. There's no way to answer that, because he did get bad. Because whatever lived inside him, whatever trauma, whatever darkness, wasn't gone. It was only ever buried, masked, numbed. He looks at Ellie, shaking. "Do you remember what happened that night?" She nods slowly. "You were yelling. You weren't Daddy." "What did I do?" "You threw Daisy." Michael remembers now. Her stuffed animal flying across the room, slamming into the wall, her little scream as she ran to it. "And then you got the thing. The gun." She says it like she's talking about a nightmare. like she's still not sure whether it really happened. "I thought you were going to shoot Mommy," she whispers. Michael falls to his knees again, overcome. "I wasn't. I swear I wasn't. I was going to—" He stops himself. "How do you tell your 6-year-old daughter that you were going to end your life in the next room while she slept?" Ellie doesn't need him to say it. She already knows. She walks over to him, slow, careful, and then, to his shock, she places Daisy, soaked and torn, into his hands. "You left her," she says. "I had to go find her." Michael clutches the ruined toy to his chest like a relic. "I don't want you to be gone," Ellie says. "Even if you get bad sometimes." Michael sobs, wrapping his arms around her carefully, as if she might disappear again. Laura joins them. The three of them collapsed in the doorway, bathed in the soft gray morning light. Later, Sheriff Raymer arrives. There's paperwork, statements, reports, but no arrests, no charges, just a family unraveling and slowly stitching themselves back together. 6 months later, Michael sits in a therapy group, hands folded, voice steady. "My name is Michael James," he says, "and I have dissociative disorder rooted in early childhood trauma. I'm in recovery for rage blackouts and memory suppression. I almost lost my daughter. I almost died." He looks up at the faces around him. "I thought I was protecting her by forgetting. But forgetting doesn't heal anything. It just hides it. And hidden things grow." He holds Daisy in his lap, freshly sewn, one eye replaced. A reminder that memory, even when it hurts, is a lifeline, and that truth, no matter how dark, is the only way forward.